Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. It is your girl Jackie Dollhouse and I am back with a new video. So it's been a long time since I did a video like this talking face to face with you guys. I've been doing more tutorials than anything and I think it's a long overdue. I have so much to say. Now if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'm sure you're going to want some of the good stuff that I got coming to you guys. And if you are returning, welcome back girl, hey. So for those who don't know, my name is Jackie. I go by the name of Jackie Dollhouse. I am a hairstylist for over 2 decades. And what I've noticed in the last decade or so is that it's been a huge shift in the hair culture in Black women. So first I'm going to start off with one of the great things that I've noticed is so many Black women are going natural, and that has been a huge accomplishment within our culture. Now, honestly, I don't really know how that trend started, but I think the first person that I seen embrace it was Solange. I'm not going to go too deep into that on this video because I will be having a lot more conversations with you guys. But yes, so I noticed a huge difference in Black women going natural, letting go of the creamy crack. Another difference that I noticed is so many women are wearing wigs nowadays. I have on a wig right now, okay? Just makes life easier on them bad hair days. Even though you can have a bad wig day too. That's why I have on a hat, but you know. And another difference I noticed is a lot of women are wearing protective styles. Now, protective styles is all good and all. I actually encourage them. However, there's a lot of protective styles that's causing so much damage to our ladies' hair. So why are these protective styles causing so much damage? So in this video today, we're going to talk about the top 10 reasons that Black women are losing their edges. It has been a growing epidemic and it just needs to stop. So I think that if we know better, we can do better. So hopefully at the end of this video, you guys will know a little more about protecting your edges and saving those edges, all right? So without further ado, let's get into the top 10 reasons Black women are losing their edges. Now before we get into the top reasons, I'm going to list a few things that may contribute to hair loss or edges being lost that has nothing to do with your choice of styles. Now that is going to be medical conditions such as lupus, pregnancy, postpartum, birth control, alopecia, stress, and just things of that nature. Things around those areas that cause women to lose their hair. Now there's other factors that contribute to it that is directly contributed to our choice of hairstyles, our choice of just things that we decide to do with our hair. Okay guys, so we're going to get right into it, all right? I am going to be listing these from the least reason to the greatest reason, all right? So make sure you stay around to number 1 because number 1 is the main reason why so many Black women are losing their hair and their edges, all right? So coming into number 10 is relaxing their hair incorrectly. Now the reason why I put this as last is because, like I mentioned, there are so many women going natural, and this is not something that a lot of Black women do nowadays. We are moving away from the relaxer, but honestly, I see a lot of women moving back towards the relaxer. Now, I personally don't think that relaxer is what's taking out our hair. I think it's the way that we are relaxing our hair, because what I've learned in beauty school is that it's not the product that takes out your hair. Product doesn't take out your hair. People do, okay? That's a tip. Now, when applying relaxers, we have the tendency of slapping on relaxers on our hairline, just slapping it back like this in a certain motion that it is overlapping the previously relaxed hair. Now, what tends to happen when you do that is that the hair that was previously relaxed, when you already straighten out the curl, it becomes too straight that it has no more curl pattern in it and it just pops. Now I'm going to put up a hair diagram for you guys so you guys can see exactly what I mean. So a natural curl pattern has a very tight coil. And then once you relax it, the purpose of relaxing it is just to relax out the curls. You don't want it to get bone straight because you can get it bone straight with the flat iron or any type of hot tool that you're going to be using. Now, what tends to happen is a lot of people tend to get the hair so straight that there's no elasticity in the hair. So the beauty of our curl, people just do not appreciate the curl enough. The beauty of the curl is when you stretch the hair, it bounces back. That curl gives it a spring, which is a barrier to stop the hair from breaking when being stretched and pulled. Now, if you get all the curl out, there's no elasticity left in the hair. So if there's any tug on it or pull on it, the hair pops easily. So when you put in relaxer on the sides, you don't want to be slapping the relaxer backwards. Now, what you should do is apply the relaxer going down. Now, anyone who ever went to beauty school or anything like that, we always learn the correct way to do it. So it just blows my mind when I go to a salon, especially the Dominican salon, no shade, and they are putting it on the wrong way. And I'm like, you had to get tested on that. And if you did it like that, you would not have passed that test. All right, so now I'm gonna insert a picture to show you guys what is the incorrect way of applying the relaxer and what's the correct way of applying the relaxer. All right, so I'm not gonna drag out these numbers because it can take a long time and I don't want this video to be too long. So again, not only does that happen just on the hairline in the front, it also happens in the back. When you're taking your relaxer in the back and you're rubbing it up this way, that's why a lot of times women who relax their hair, they usually have a shorter perimeter than they actually have on the inside of their hair. Because not only do they rub the relaxer back like this too far, they also rub it up too far like this, causing around the hairline to be the shortest part because you are constantly and consistently overlapping the relaxer. All right, so we're gonna get into number 9. Coming into number 9, if you guys see me looking this way, I have my computer over here and I have my notes just so I don't forget anything, all right? So coming into number 9 is not moisturizing your hair enough. Now, I cannot tell you guys how many times I ask somebody, what do you use to moisturize your hair? And they name every oil under the sun. Just for the record, oil does not moisturize your hair. Oil is a sealant. And if your hair is moisturized, it will seal in the moisture. And if your hair is dry, it's going to seal in the dryness, right? So it's very important to moisturize your hair before putting on oil. Now, what is moisturizer? Moisturizer usually comes in a cream form, and they even have some that's liquid. You can get spray moisturizer, you can get a cream moisturizer, but it should say moisturizer. If it does not say moisturizer and it say oil, it does not moisturize the hair. So this is a very, very important thing because I hear it way too often. I see so many women, they be like, my hair is so dry, it doesn't matter how much oil I put in it, it's still dry. And it's like, because you're not moisturizing your hair. Now, your hair is like a plant. You have to think of your hair like a plant. It needs moisture, just like a plant needs moisture. So, some of my favorite moisturizers, I would say, just for those who may not know what kind of moisturizers will be good for your hair. My absolute favorite one is the Jane Carter. Oh, I should have brought it out. Maybe I'll put a picture up here. It's the Jane Carter Nourishing Shine. It's my absolute favorite moisturizer in the world, especially in regards to my hair. I make sure that all my clients get it, especially those who still get sew-ins with leave out. If anybody get a leave out, I make sure that everyone buys one of those moisturizers because you will not get breakage when you leave out while using that moisturizer. Excuse me if I stumble over my words. My mouth is a little dry, sorry. But I'm gonna try my best to speak as clearly as possible. All right, so just bear with me. All right, so like I was saying, some of my favorite moisturizers are the Jane Carter. Well, that's my #1 favorite moisturizer, the Jane Carter Nourishing Shine. Sometimes it's not as easy to find, especially now. It's been a lot harder to find. But another one that I like is the Mizani H2O. H2O, we know that's water. Water is moisture, so that's a good one. Back in the day, we used to use like Perfect for Perm, Razak. That one still works well. I haven't used it in a long time, but that's what we used to use back in the day, and it worked very well. For some, Pink Luster, what is it called? Pink Luster Moisturizer Lotion. Now that never worked for my hair. That just used to make my hair look wet and just weird. However, a lot of people like it, and it works on a lot of people's hair, especially children. So those are just to name a few of moisturizers. Now, if you want to seal in and lock in the moisture, you can always go over the moisturizer with some oil just to seal it in, all right? Now, coming into number 8 is edge control. Now, we was really onto something when edge control came out because Our edges has always been like the biggest part, especially for those who went natural. The inside of our hair wasn't really the big issue, but it was the edges that we had issues with, right? Because especially if you wore a nice sleeve, your edges would be looking African American, the weave would be looking European, and it just didn't flow. So the edge control became one of those things that was a must-have. Now, although I do love edge control, the problem with edge control is that it is a very thick consistency, and if you are just piling it on and piling it on, it will clog up your follicles, causing your hair to break off, or just your follicles just to be damaged, clogged up, and the hair is not coming out anymore, or growing out that follicle anymore, because you end up suffocating the follicle, so to speak, for lack of a better term, just for you to understand it. Now, my suggestion is there's nothing wrong with using edge control. However, if you're going to use it, I think that it's very important for you to make sure that after maybe a second time adding it on, just clean off your hairline. You don't have to wash your whole hair, but just wash off the hairline just to get it clean, and then reapply it. So that way you're not getting so much buildup. Not only that, edge control works best on clean hair. That's why a lot of people say, oh, it used to work for me, but it doesn't work for me anymore. It still works. You just gotta wash your hair, okay? And that buildup just looks so, it looks like gunk. Is that a word? Gunk. Y'all know that, gunk, and it be looking white, and it just clean that off and reapply it. You're gonna get a better, sleeker look, and not only that, your face is gonna be clearer. Now, a lot of people may not notice that, but when you put so much of that stuff in your hair, it starts coming through your pores, you start getting little acne and bumps on the side of your face, and you don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from your edge control, all right? So, if you're gonna use your edge control, I would say after the second time, no more than 3 times. You should never apply edge control on your hair more than 3 times. After the 3rd time, you have to wash that part of your hair, just the edges. Go over the sink, just wash this part, and then reapply it. And it's gonna look better. It's gonna look better, fresher, and neater, and cleaner, all right? So coming into number 7 is the misuse of glue. Some of you girls, first of all, let me just show you guys something real quick.
When you really got this wig life, fuck a hairline. You don't need no hairline. Your frontal is your hairline, or your closure, you get what I'm saying? So we gonna wax this hair off, because I need my wigs to like on my skin. You know what I'm saying? Here goes nothing. Oh, shit. One more to go. Okay.
Now, just a really quick story. I host this event, and it was a hairstylist, one of you guys' favorite hairstylists, and he was there giving a class on how to do the frontals. I forgot how much they charged for this class. I think it was like $300 for this class. It was just like a look and learn class. The very first thing that he did was take a razor and shave off this girl's baby hair. And when I tell you, I was cringing, like, where they do that? Where they do that? Ladies, don't you ever let anyone shave off your hair to put on fake hair. That's not what this is for. This is assignment misunderstood, okay? We are not getting rid of our hair to replace it with fake hair that's not gonna last as long as our hair, and then you gotta constantly rebuy this fake hair. It just doesn't make sense. Now, personally, I don't use glue on my hair. I don't use glue on my clients' hair, only if they request it, or if they already have like alopecia or issues where their hair is not gonna grow back anyhow. I'm not a glue user. But if you are gonna use glue, just make sure that you are removing it properly. They have the removers to take it off. You can remove it with oil, you can remove it with conditioner. There's so many different ways that you can remove it rather than just snatching it off like you just don't love yourself. That's just like not loving yourself. I just don't understand why you don't want your edges. It just, you know, that will make your life very complicated, not having your edges. So yeah, anyway, that's all I'm saying. If you're gonna use the glue, use it responsibly, all right? Now, coming into number 6 is tight braids and high tension hairstyles. Now, honestly, in the early 2000s, late 90s, when I was doing hair, the only time that you would, when I first started doing hair, actually, I started doing hair in the 90s. And the only time that you would see someone without their edges was those who wore braids a lot, because, you know, braids was known to take out your edges, especially if you went to the no shade Africans. They would braid your hair really tight and you would lose your edges, and that was the thing. We used to always be like, don't let them Africans braid your hair like that. But nowadays, there's so many new hairstyles that is very high tension, and it's just taking out people's hair. So it's very simple. If the hairstyle is too tight, speak up. If you see that it's squeezing up your scalp and you see the little white bumps coming along, that's causing damage to your follicles, take out the hairstyle. I know you might have spent money on it. You probably paid $100 to, I don't care how much you spent for it. You can get that money back. You can't just get your edges back that easy. You understand? Like, the money comes back way faster than the hair. So if a hairstyle is too tight in your hair, you know when it's too tight, take it out. All right? And it's not only just braids. You could do a lot of tight tension hairstyles that cause a lot of thinning on the edges, like tight ponytails that's like way too tight. Yeah, I would say that's it. Braids, ponytails, and yeah, tight tension hairstyles. Let it go, all right? If it's too tight, if it's giving you a headache, if you can't even sleep, you can't even lay on it, take it out. Take it out. It's okay. I know we don't like to waste our money, but it's gonna come back, all right? But your edges may not. So, moving into number 5 is a tight foundation. Now, this is kind of similar to number 6, but it's a little different. So when I say tight foundation, I mean foundation as far as your weave foundation. Now, if you starting off with a tight foundation before your stylist even sew on the weave, you already know that is going to be popping your hair out. So speak up. Once again, I think it's so important, because I know there's so many women who sit in the chair, they don't want to be a pain in the butt, so they don't say anything. If something is uncomfortable, they don't want to come off like they're complaining and stuff like that. And if you are sitting in the stylist chair and she feels a way about you complaining, then, you know, do the math, right? But if your foundation on your braids is tight before she sew it in, it's going to be twice as tight. It's already tight, pull it on your hair, then she's going to take thread and pull the thread on top of tight braids. So your hair's going to be popping, it's going to be thinning, it's going to be damaging, and it's going to be pulling on your edges. So not only are you going to have damaged edges, you're going to have damaged hair as well. So make sure that your foundation is bearable. Before you get the weave sewn on, now don't get me wrong, when you get it sewn, you're going to feel some tension. You're going to feel some. But if you feel the tension before you actually get the hair sewn on your head, it's a no, okay? All right, so going into number 4 is wearing stocking caps. Now, I know a lot of people wear stocking caps under their wigs. I don't. I just put the wig directly on my hair because it just works best for me. And nowadays, I see a lot of people when they do the ball cap method. That one is real iffy, right? Because you gluing this ball cap on your head. Some people glue it on, some people use the Got2b spray, but as you take it off, it starts popping off like little pieces at a time. And if you're constantly wearing these wigs, you're constantly taking little pieces off your hairline at a time. Now let's say you're not a person who's doing the ball cap, because not everybody do the ball cap. Some people just throw the cap on and put the wig on top of it. Now, if you are one who do that, that's fine. But when you get in the house, when you take off the wig, take off the cap. I see so many women who just keep the wigs, the cap on, the stocking cap on. And for the stocking cap, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, is this. Now, I see so many women who keep on the stocking cap even when they take off their wig. When you take your wig off, just take the stocking cap off. Because the problem is, 2 problems with the stocking cap. This material is extremely drying to the hair. So it makes the hair very spongy. It makes the hair very porous. And it makes the hair it just sucks all the moisture and the luster from the hair. Now, that's just the material of the stocking cap. Now, when you talk about the brim of the stocking cap, this is extremely tight, especially for those who have big heads. So you just have this sitting on your hairline day and night. You wore it all day with your wig, then you come home and you just still wear it, and then you go to sleep in it. This right here will eat your hairline out, sis, okay? It will eat it out all around the perimeter, not just the edges, but also the back. I've seen it time after time. And usually when I see somebody who comes in when someone sit in my chair and they have that damage, I know off top. I could tell by how their hair feel, and I could tell just by how their hairline look. And I ask them, I'm like, you wear stocking caps? And they be like, oh yeah, I usually sleep in it, da-da-da. How you know? I always know these things. I know what it looks like. I know the damage that it does, all right? So when you take off your wig, take off your stocking cap. And honestly, to be honest with you, not everyone needs a stocking cap. Like, I know that's what you see a lot of people do, but just use your discretion. It may or may not work for some, all right? And that's that. All right, so moving on, we're gonna do this list really fast. Proud of myself. All right, moving to number 3. Okay, guys. Now, this one is gonna blow a lot of you guys' mind, because I know y'all had no idea that this was putting damage on your edges. And that is the flip over method. Do y'all know what that is? All right, so let me explain. So you know when you get a sew-in with your good hair and you don't want to cut your tracks, right? So you just what? You flip the tracks back and forth without cutting it. Now, excuse me. Now, there's no problem with flipping over your tracks. I do the flip over method. And when I say tracks, I mean the weft. This part that you sew through, this right here is the track or the weft. They can call it weft now, but you know, we used to call it tracks, right? Now, not all hair is created equally. Some hair has really, really thick, hard tracks. And when you fold it, it doesn't lay flat. It gives you like this bubble. Now, if you see this hair right here, hopefully I can zoom in some, but this closes completely flat when I fold it. And it does not leave a bow. So it does not take, you know, shameless plug, this is Jackie Dollhouse here, baby, okay? Because I put nothing but the best on my clients, all right? Now, when you fold this over, you won't feel anything. It will be a seamless flat weave. However, when you have some tracks that's too bulky, the wefts is too bulky, when you fold it, in order to get it flat, you have to pull it really tight. And what that tends to do is it pulls on the edges. Now, what people don't understand is your hairline, this braid right here, that front braid holds the weight of your whole entire weave. Or I want to say most of your weave, because you got some tracks in the back depending on the braid pattern. Most people do that braid pattern that's like this, and it comes down. I ain't gonna say that's my braid pattern, but it's my braid pattern, right? And what it is that braid is connected to the edges right here, unless they stop right here, right? And even if you do stop right here, it still pulls your whole head back. So as you pulling this back and forth, it makes your hair tighter and tighter and tighter, and you just start feeling your face getting tight, and it's just pulling it back like that. So how do you stop that? When you start feeling this getting too tight, you cut the wefts. Most of the time, it's usually when you get to the top. But if the tracks is really thick, you're gonna have to cut it a lot sooner. Don't try to save the tracks. Once again, don't try to save the hair. Save your edges. You can buy more hair, you can't buy more edges. And not only that, I don't know where this whole myth came from that if you cut the wefts, you can't use it. You can still use it, because if you put this weave in your head, and then once you get to the top, you have to cut it out. When it's time to put back in, you should be going to the same stylist. She knows exactly where it came from. She knows exactly where it goes. So it's not an issue with you cutting the wefts, okay? You gotta cut the wefts, cut the wefts. Cut the wefts, save your edges, all right? Did I make that clear? Does that make sense to you guys? I hope that makes sense. I don't want to be going through it too fast and you guys not understanding what I'm saying. But pulling, because this is very, very important. When I'm doing my clients' hair, before I go into number 2, when I'm doing my clients' hair, I always ask them, like, you know, is it too tight? Does this feel fine? Every time I flip a track, that's good? Yeah, that's good. Flip it again. You good? Yeah, that's good. This feel too tight? That's good? No, that's good. So I make sure that I'm communicating with my clients just to make sure that they are going to be as comfortable as possible when leaving. And I'm not pulling on their edges so they're not going to have any damage. because I don't want them to have those little white bumps that comes up on the side from their hair being so tight. Because let's be honest, yeah, I gotta spend a little more time on this because this is important. This is honestly one of the this is one of the major reasons why we are losing our edges. I'm not gonna say we, because she got all her edges, but I'm just saying, right? But one of the main reasons is because, you know, back in the day, not one of the main reasons, but back in the day, we used to use package hair, and everybody used to cut the tracks because you couldn't reuse the hair, so it wasn't a big deal, right? And when they was doing the sew-ins, they wasn't losing their hair because it wasn't pulling on it, and girls wasn't going edgeless because of a sew-in. So why is they going edgeless now? It's because they're trying to save their hair and not their hair. So save your hair and not their hair, and that hair is going to be okay. You cut the wefts, you're still going to be able to use it. Honestly, I used my hair for years. If you guys look at one of my videos that I did last year where I did my sewing, I'll put the link below how I do my own sewing with used hair. That hair is all cut up, and I had that hair for like at least 8 years. It's raw Indian hair. I don't even know. I had that hair for so many years. I wore that hair for my 30th birthday. Oh damn! I just told y'all my age. God damn it. But whatever. I had that hair for years. I cut the wefts and it's still good. So stop being so, you know, I don't know the word, but let it go, all right? Save your edges. Now we can move on to number 2. So number 2, very, very, very important, just as important, okay, is your nighttime routine. Because some of y'all be trying to go to sleep without no scarf, and I don't know who y'all think y'all are. I don't know who you think you are to go to sleep on your cotton pillowcase with no scarf on your head. Where they do that at? Nah, I know where they do that. There's a lot of y'all who be doing that. But y'all need to stop. If you want to save your hair, you want to save your edges, stop doing that, okay? So let's get into our nighttime routine. I could do a whole separate video on your nighttime routine so you don't have to do anything to your hair in the morning. But for right now, we just want to go really, really quick, right? Now, 1, get rid of those bonnets, okay? Bonnets, it's not a friend to your edges, right? Now, there are certain bonnets that you could wear. I would wear this bonnet because it has like this, but even with this, right? With this big seam right here, this is abrasive on the hair. I try not to get the one that's a lot of elastic on the edges, the original one. That one totally eat out the edges. Some people are allergic to latex without realizing, and it has latex and the elasticity band on it. So that right there would eat out your edges. And the reason why I know, it took me a while to realize that bonnets was taking out people's edges. Now, when I would have certain clients come in my chair and I would just see the same pattern of breakage, I always ask questions. I'm one of those stylists that ask you a bunch of questions. I need to know what's going on with your hair. I need to know if we have anything that took us back. I need to know what was you doing, what was you using, what was you sleeping in, how do you tie your hair. I need to know these things. So this is how I'm able to correct the issues, right? Now, bonnets, this right here, it just sitting on your hairline, even though it's not tight, it's just still something sitting on your hairline, which causes that same type of breakage that you can get from a stocking cap. The only difference is the inside of your hair doesn't feel all spongy. You understand? Because it is satin. So now there's no problem with using bonnets, but you can't put this bonnet here on your hairline. If you're going to use a bonnet, I always make my clients use a satin or silk scarf to tie their hair up right here, and then you just take the bonnet and put it over it. So that way, this is protecting the length of the hair and this is protecting your edges, all right? Another thing that you can use, if you like something real easy like the bonnet, is one of these slats. I got this from Grace Elaye, I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'll put the link below. And this is just a slat. It looks so good on. It has like a satin cap on the inside, so it protects your hair and it protects your scalp. And it's stylish to wear outside. I'm gonna show you guys really quick. Okay, my hair is not all that today, but you know. All right, and you see that? I just tuck all my hair in it. I take it off, and my hair just bounces right back in shape. Now here's another thing. I know people be loving the bonnet, but the bonnet doesn't really preserve your hairstyle. And if the bonnet did preserve your hairstyle, you wouldn't see so many women outside in the streets walking with them, right? Because if it make your hair look good when you take it off, you'll just take it off and go outside instead of going outside with it. What would be the purpose of you going outside? The bonnet does not hold your hair in place. It's just on your head and your hair's just moving around, getting messy under it. So it does not preserve your hairstyle. It's practically useless by itself, if you want to be honest. Another thing that you can do is a scarf. One of these big scarves. You can get a big silk scarf, you can get a big chiffon scarf. This is the scarf that I sleep in for the most part. But you want to make sure that your hair is going to be tied down, not moving, not rubbing, and just in place. And that's the best way that you can preserve your hairstyle, manipulate it, lessen them all the time, and protect your edges, all right? Because you cannot be laying on that cotton like you don't love your hair, okay? All right, so coming into number one, drum roll please. That was a big drum roll. But anyway, coming in number one is choosing the wrong hairstylist. Now, to be honest with you guys, 95% of the time when I see a woman who lost her edges, it's not someone who do her own hair. This is someone who goes get her hair done from the salon. Oftentimes, they go to the same stylist. And they've been going to the same stylist for years, and they've been losing their hair, and their stylist haven't been trying to find a remedy for it. She haven't been mentioning it. She doesn't even bring it up to your attention. She doesn't even say, girl, I noticed your edges is thinning. Maybe we should try a different style. She doesn't suggest any treatments or anything. She just finds different hairstyles to cover it up. This is not the stylist that you want to go to. If you are going to a stylist and you start to see a decline in the health of your hair, it's time to get a new stylist. It's just that simple. Because what is the purpose? What is the purpose of you spending money to lose your hair? It just doesn't make sense, right? So very simple, very easy. If you want to pick a stylist, don't just pick a stylist. Pick a stylist who also is a hairdresser. Someone who actually cares about your hair, who know how to treat your hair, and who cares about the health of your hair. Bottom line, not someone who's just going to make sure that you look good for the day or look good for the week, and they could care less about anything else. You don't have to try you don't have to try every stylist just because they do good hair. You don't have to buy every pair of shoes because they're nice, right? Same as you don't have to go to every hairstylist just because you think they do hair nice. Find you a stylist that you like their work and also who care for hair. If this is a person who just say, you gotta come in, wash, go dry, and braid it, and I'm just gonna throw it on your hair, slap it on your hair, sing about your way, that's not the stylist for you. That's the stylist that you go to when you're just trying to, that's not the stylist you go to, I'm sorry. If you just need to do something really quick with your hair, get yourself some wigs that you can just throw in your hair real quick on a bad hair day like I did today, okay? Because I'm having a bad hair day, but you won't ever know that. And call it a day. Honestly, I'm sorry I have to vent to you guys, right? But there's so many women who act like hair is life or death. And our hair is important. Don't get me wrong, this is our crown. We have to protect it, we have to love it. But there's so many women who feel like, I can't have a bad hair day. My stylist is not available, so I'm just gonna go to somebody else. That's not the way you do it. If your stylist is not unavailable, you should have a stylist who's making sure your hair is good. So if she's unavailable, you can at least put your natural hair in a ponytail or put it in 2 braids or something quick and cute. Like, there should be something that you can do to your hair that you can feel that I can wear this for a day or 2, or until my client or until my stylist is ready to do my hair that I feel comfortable with. And if you have not found that hairstyle, find that hairstyle that you could just put in your hair and embrace it. Now, I know a lot of people are in a situation, especially when they don't have their edges, where they are not able to do anything without their stylist besides throwing a wig. Now, I will be making a new video on the top 10 products and remedies in growing back your edges, because we don't want to just know why it's taking out our edges. We want to know how can we get it back, all right? And I got that for you. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something from this. If you are familiar with any of these, or if you even lost your edges from anything different, make sure you put that below. I love to just read people's hair stories and find out just different things, because I know we all have so many hair horror stories, and I don't even want to know just about the horrors. I want to know just about your hair story in general, because I had some hair horrors, all right, with my hair as a hairstylist, just going to the salons, and I can't wait to share that with you guys, because honestly, what my goal is with my channel going forward is to help Black women love their hair, embrace their hair, grow their hair, repair their hair, and just, you know, be fabulous with it, because, you know, our hair's bomb, you know? This ain't my hair, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Alright guys, so until the next one, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so you can know when I'll be uploading the next video. And the next video will be, I don't know if it's going to be our very next video, but it will be coming very soon. The top 10 products and tips and tricks in growing back the edges. Alright, so until the next video, you guys, see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.